Member for Darul.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera, salam selamat maju makmur dan salam segulai sejalai. First and foremost, I thank you, Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, for granting me the opportunity to take part in today's debate on the Land Court Amendment Bill 2025 that was presented by Deputy Premier Yang Berhormat Dato' Amar Wang Tengah Ali Hassan, Second Minister for Natural Resources and Urban Development, Minister for International Trade, Industry and Investment, and also members for N82 Bukit Sari. Tan Sri Dato' Ahmad Speaker, Sarawak is definitely has set an exemplary figure to all the states in Malaysia when it comes to efficient governance, thanks to our far-sighted leader, Yang Berhormat Premier Sarawak, who has set a clear vision to make Sarawak as developed and high-income state by the year 2030. Having this clear vision come with responsibility and fogging and developing clear policy in order to be relevant, remain sustainable, and ensuring Sarawak is on the right tracks. Tan Sri Dato' Speaker, I stand today in full support of the proposed amendments, which mark an essential and timely step in modernizing Sarawak's land management and land administration system. These reforms are not only about updating procedures, they are about building a more efficient, transparent, and future-ready framework that will better serve the people and development's goal for our state. Tan Sri Dato' Speaker, as we strive for position Sarawak as a digital leader and model for good governance, and proposed amendment will streamline function, simplify outdated procedures, and standardization work processes to reflect our current operational realities. One of the most impactful changes is the formal recognition of electronic systems such as ESPA system, a major shift that allowed for online submission of application and plans, eliminating the need for physical paperwork and reducing processing time significantly. The amendment also introduced more practical procedures for serving notices and expedited issuance of duplicate title, which will greatly benefit the public and reduce administration backlogs. On top of that, the extension of responsibilities from surveyors and valuers to other relevant officers in compensation matters brings much needed flexibility and responsiveness to our land administration system. The role of the State Planning Authority, or SPA, is significantly strengthened through the introduction of a legal definition of development plan. This gives the authority a clearer mandate and stronger legal backing to regulate and guides land developments in a planned and sustainable manner. Additionally, the authority is now empowered to impose levy, fees, contributions, and other charges, which provide a flexible and responsive financial mechanism to support planning, infrastructures, and enforcement activities. Most notably, the inclusion of the term any person in the amendment ensures that all stakeholders, including government departments and agencies, are held accountable to planning requirements. This marks a shift toward greater equity and consistency in enforcement, where public and private sector are subject to the same rules and expectations. Tansia Thomas Speaker, the proposed amendment introduced clear and enforceable provision to regulate the transportation of rock material out of Sarawak. This is a critical step in ensuring that our natural resources are responsibly managed and that Sarawak rightful revenue from the resources is properly collected. By making licensing requirements legally enforceable and enabling the effective collection of fees and royalties, we are protecting not only our environment but also the economic interests of the state. This move conveys a clear and firm message that the illegal extraction and transport of rock material will not be condoned, and that all operators, whether from the public or private sector, are required to adhere strictly to established procedures. The introduction of stringent penalties through the amendment serves as a critical deterrence against unlawful activities and deplete the state's natural resources. It is imperative that the law remain resolute and that its enforcement in both consistent and credible. Mr. Speaker, equally significant is the introduction of a new legal framework to govern matters relating to Waqf or endowments, which is intended to formalize the registration and management of Waqf and endowments lands, not in a way that is exclusive to any one religion, but within the inclusive and intent of accommodating all religions practiced in Sarawak. Under this framework, landowners who wish to endow or dedicate their land for religious or welfare purposes will now have a clear, efficient, and a legally secure pathway to do so. No more unnecessary red tape, and most importantly, a noble attention of the landowners will no longer be hindered by legal uncertainty. Sarawak, as we all know, is the land of many cultures, ethnicities, and religions. Our strength lies in our ability to live together in peace despite our differences. Therefore, it is only fitting that our law evolve to reflect this multi-religious and multicultural, to ensure that such contributions are safeguarded and properly utilized for the benefits of the future generation. The approval period of development proposals are now aligned with updated policies and the state planning authorities or SPA. So this brings greater certainty and efficiency into planning process, reducing unnecessary delays and improving transparency. Additionally, the amendment introduced its new requirement for the submission of as-built utility data, the progressive step and support the creation of a 3D utility mapping framework and the formation of dedicated committees. This is not just about data. This is about building the foundation for integrated spatial planning, underground infrastructure management, and ultimately the smart city visions of Sarawak. With accurate real-time utility data, we can plan more intelligently, prevent costly infrastructure clashes, and build more sustainable urban centers. Lastly, terminological updates, such as broadening the references to parking spaces that seem trivial, but they reflect our commitment to ensure that the land court is inclusive, adaptable, and responsive to current and future land use trends. It ensures that our laws remain dynamic and relevant to the need of modern urban development. These updates to definitions, the policies, are not cosmetic. They are strategic. They demonstrate our commitment to responsible land management and land administration inclusive legal framework, and smart development planning. To end up my speech, this bill shows Sarawak commitment and definitely the collective wills and effort in ensuring Sarawak is being governed efficiently. With that being said, Tan Sri Tuan Speaker, I fully support the Land Court Amendment Bill 2025. Thank you.